So I understand that the priority of a sadhak is first to develop clarity, and second to do those kriyas, to do those sadhanas. But I have been realizing that there are other tangential things as well, that if one does, it enhances the sadhana, it enhances the growth. And for example, if one is doing tamasic things, he will still grow, but then tamasic it blocks. So there must be other things that I'm not aware about, that a sadhak must keep in mind. Can you share your perspective on this?
वैसे तो अगेन इसमें हमने वर्ड तामसिक यूज किया है, तो वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड तामसिक, राजसिक, सात्विक आल्सो फॉर दिस. एंड एट सेम टाइम if you look at the path of aghoris, the left hand path, they do everything not recommended by the holy scriptures.
Correct.
So either we conclude we have two choices, right? Either we conclude that those aghoris will never get realized and that's a false path. Either that is true. But if the other flip side is true, that even if that path could lead to self-realization,
Correct,
then we can probably conclude that it's not these substances.
Yeah.
It's our own discipline.
Yeah.
Our awareness and our mental discipline which really counts.
That's such a good example.
है ना, मतलब डिसिप्लिन राहुल इन दी सेंस कि अपने खुद के फीलिंग्स में डिसिप्लिन, अपनी थॉट्स में डिसिप्लिन, अपनी चॉइसेस में डिसिप्लिन, एक्शंस में डिसिप्लिन, सो दैट हम एक डेफिनेटिव ह्यूमन कंडक्ट से जिए, या साधक कंडक्ट बोलते हैं.
Correct.
है ना, या योगी कंडक्ट बोलते हैं, योगिक कंडक्ट.
And I want to hear more of this, but I want to add one more thing, that indeed it is known that aghoris do achieve the goals. So like you said, so one thing might be that the intensity of the passion for the goal,
Yes.
that may overcompensate for the other aspects that they might not be doing. So that makes sense that a sadhak should have the intense ambition for the goal, and not ambition, yearning for the goal. But like you said, there are other things, proper human conduct. Can I know what conduct can I develop so that it eases my way besides intensity?
Correct. So one, I agree with you. Most important thing is our thirst or longing,
Right.
and the intensity of the thirst,
Right.
with which we call, and the consistency of the thirst throughout our day,
Right.
even in our dreams when we sleep.
Right.
तो वो थर्स्ट एक हमारी जारी रहे.
Correct.
मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग वही है.
Right.
Then everything else gets figured out. The grace acts upon us is my belief.
Okay.
That's 90% job done.
Okay.
Minimum 80%.
Now, for someone who's on the process of building that thirst, but he also wants to inculcate other things. For example, let me use an example so that you get what I'm saying. The simple thing as, when you waking up early, as simple as that.
Makes a big difference.
So these are the things I'm not aware of, and I'm realizing that they must be reducing my efficiency for my path, because these are things that naturally I'm doing incorrectly. That must be not helping me. So I want to know things like that. I mean, all the kind of things. दिनचर्या बोल लो या साधक conduct.
देखिए, conduct की, if we talk of conduct, then every person will give their own recommendation.
True.
You go to Christians,
True.
you go to Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism.
True.
Different do's and don'ts will be given.
True.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, should we focus on the conduct, or again, should we focus on our feelings only?
Elaborate.
मतलब conduct is actions.
Correct.
Actions comes from thoughts and decisions. Correct. Actions come from decisions. Decisions come from thought.
Right.
Okay. Now, thought again has a foundation in desires. When we desire something, we think about that thing.
Correct.
Okay. Now, the space of desires comes from space of feelings. Feeling what we value. So, we value happiness, for example. We value respect. We value trust. We value prosperity. We value health.
Right.
Right? So, the space of values and feelings is a deeper space in our thoughts and decisions and actions.
I agree with it, because everything else originates from it.
Yes.
And it's no use not having the right values but superficially doing any kind of action. Agreed.
You know? So, but at same time, these actions were recommended by these teachers because they knew that my disciples or the general society of that time is not so intelligent or capable enough, was their assumption. That they would straight away get to the super consciousness level.
Correct. They need some kind of help. Some support.
A guardrail.
A guardrail. Correct.
A guardrail
Training
to walk
wheels.
on.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
For example, do not engage in illicit sexual activity. Be with your husband and wife only together.
Right.
Come together when you want to bring a soul to earth.
Right.
This was a recommendation.
Right.
No illicit sexual
Right.
relationships.
And it's something that could naturally be derived from common sense. Are you saying that someone who's wise enough will naturally...
That person would not walk that path.
Correct.
Most probably. See, again in actions, we cannot say what a Buddha would do.
True.
We can never say this is a universally correct action always. In action, we cannot say that. But we can definitely say it is universally correct to respect another human being.
Correct.
And yourself.
Yes.
Every human being should respect himself and other human beings or the rest of nature. This is a proposal for explanation. Some people I also find, today I saw a post on Instagram by this guy I really admire. But today he came out with this thing that Christianity is the only true religion and I don't respect other religions. So I wonder if he's a happy person. He seems stressed from his post.
A truly happy person might have a more equity-driven approach towards everything. Acceptance, right.
Which is called forgiveness in other words. Like, he quotes Jesus, right? And he quotes Christianity.
Right.
But Jesus was never a Christian.
Correct. Yeah, he was a Jew. Right.
We call him a Jew also, but I don't think he followed the Jewish path also.
True.
He lived as a human being. What really his direct connection with the universe was, and from there his conduct came. So, but at same time, definitive human conduct is what you asked. No? What does it mean?
Yes.
You understand word definitive, right?
Could you...
Definite ko kya bolte hain?
Something that is concrete and sure?
Sure. It will always be like this.
Yeah.
Like it is definite the sun will rise in the east. Correct? Fire will heat something.
Correct.
Right. So that is definite. So now what is definite human conduct? Is there at all something like a definite human conduct? There may be another view which may challenge this view, that in human beings we cannot see definitiveness. And that view has some ground. Because if we see all how many human beings we have on earth?
More than 7 billion.
7 billion. Then we will see a wide variety of conduct across everybody. So hence they do have some point in saying there is no observed definitive conduct in human beings.
Or maybe just maybe they mean a pattern of conduct in human beings who are more conscious. Is that what they're pointing at?
Yes. The people who speak of definitive human conduct, for them the quote-unquote word human means a level of consciousness, not the human body.
Right.
So there are 7.5 billion human bodies on earth.
Right.
And consciousness is, being like pilots of those bodies.
Right.
Correct? But are they in what these people who speak of definitive human conduct, are they in what they say human consciousness?
Right.
Now we need to then think about, okay, what do they mean by human consciousness? So we had discussed, Rahul, kuch time pehle. You remember the 5 levels of human consciousness we talked about? That a being with a human body can have 5 levels of consciousness. It could be, again, we are throwing words at it, but a consciousness which could be called maybe demonic consciousness. Okay. Another one would be an animal consciousness with all love and respect. Animals are not inferior to human beings. I want to give this disclaimer to anybody who would feel that. But just stay with the words for now and explanations can come. Third one is a human consciousness, they said. Fourth is, they said, God-like consciousness. Fifth, they said, divine consciousness. So there can be 5 such levels, and then they try to describe the traits of each consciousness. That what are these consciousness driven by? What factors drive them? So they propose that a consciousness which is not yet a human consciousness is driven by 9 main factors. It is your like-dislike is first factor. Your benefit is second factor. Third factor is your profit. Okay? Then the other is comfort and convenience as a driving factor of life.
Hmm.
Then hoarding as a driving factor of life. Consumption, sensory pleasure as a driving factor of life. Okay. Then the seventh driving factor is fear.
Okay.
Okay, you're driven by fear. You are running by fear, or you plant fear in somebody else to govern them.
Okay.
Okay. Then the eighth one is enticement. I can entice you. I can give you some profit or benefit and make you do things I want you to.
Right.
Do. Okay. Then the last one is blind faith.
Okay. These are
9 factors which drive an inhuman consciousness,
okay.
which is not yet
Evolved enough.
evolved enough to be called human.
Okay.
This is a word some people use.
Okay.
We could use another word.
Okay.
Okay, but these 9 factors do drive the lower 2 strata of consciousness.
It makes sense, and I would like to. I also think that, as you said it, I realized that all of them are deeply connected to the process of desiring. The more I desire, the more I would do all of those things. More I would seek comfort, profit, benefit. The more I would dislike things that separate me from my desire. So they all root from desire, it seems.
Everything is rooted in desire.
Right.
Now we can visualize desire as a tree also.
Right.
A desire has a trunk and a root. So there's a root desire, which could be called to feel good, maybe.
Yeah.
Well-being.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Right.
Then there's a trunk desire of well-being. Then there are branches. For well-being, I need a healthy body. Okay. I need healthy relationships in my family, in my neighborhood, in my school, in my college, on the road, in the society, between countries, with the rest of nature. That's a branch. Now each branch can have further sub-branches. Correct? So, but from this core branch, sometimes we, out of faith or whatever our belief system is, it could be based out of faith or based out of knowledge, come secondary desires.
Right.
For example, my career.
Correct. Correct.
Now within career could be a desire of learning my profession. Could be desire of finding a teacher.
Right.
Could be desire of finding a right job.
Right.
And within the right job, there will be subsequent desires to prepare for the interview, to make a good resume,
Right.
to put good content on my social media, LinkedIn and all. So these are secondary desires. So hence we have many desires.
It's like you said, a tree of desires, beginning from a common ancestor
Desire of well-being.
Of well-being. Okay.
I should do well. I should live well. So now some of these desires may be born out of imagination or blind faith. Okay, those are the dangerous desires. For example, a desire to have as many clothes as possible, one cloth for every day, one new pair, so that I can look very colorful every day.
Right. Some people have that. Right.
Some people have
Yeah.
that. And now, so that is also a desire, right?
Right.
So in the end, you are right. Desires drive everything.
Right.
Every human being, even an animal, is living by desire. And okay, animals and human beings, there is no superiority or inferiority. And every consciousness residing irrespective of the brain is equal.
And I want to add something I read recently that someone analyzed this or contemplated on it, that what separates animals and humans, or even animalistic humans and other humans, is how instinctive they live. If someone lives very instinctively without dwelling much on their thoughts, on analyzing their actions, then that is what an animal is. As you said, it does not mean make them inferior, but they're more instinctive, and we tend to do things out of much thought.
Correct.
Right.
Our minds work more complex ways.
More complex ways. Right.
So, but at the same time, it's very interesting, Rahul. Matlab, both things hold, and actually, truth is often contradictory. Both statements hold true.
Right.
So, animals, but even if you look at a human child, is very spontaneous. And they even say enlightened beings are very spontaneous. They're like a pure child.
That is also true. You're right.
So spontaneity is not the differentiating factor between, let's say,
Correct.
right, levels of consciousness.
But would we say that instinctive behavior and spontaneous behavior, they enmesh? Do they seem to be similar?
Instinctive behavior is a spontaneous behavior. Yeah, I think so.
Or it's driven by deep compulsions, but out of instinctive response. That we are just hypothesizing.
For example, if I hear the growl of a tiger right now, I'll jump in my seat.
True.
That's an instinctive
That's
response.
an instinctive response.
And a spontaneous
And a
response.
spontaneous.
Instinct is spontaneous, no?
Actually, I don't know enough to really honestly discuss this, but I would like to say that I think instinct comes with some subconscious memories. There's a response, but
Yeah.
spontaneous is purely free. There's no memory. There's no correlation with anything that has happened in the past.
Even with the DNA.
Like for example, like we discussed that liberated beings are spontaneous. They are not in any way limited by any past memory. While being responding out of fear when a tiger growls, that is a primitive DNA coded inside you to be fearful and careful. But maybe a spontaneous person won't respond like that. So maybe they are not instinctive yet in the moment in their own way.
You are correct. Even if I'm thinking now, so a person may respond differently to a growl.
Right.
If probably he is really meditative
Right.
and in a very high consciousness
Right.
state,
Right.
then he's sort of not attached to the
Yeah.
fears.
He might just laugh. If a tiger growls, he might just laugh. Who knows?
Yes, it is possible.
Right.
That is true. So, yeah, these are two words we talked about, instinct and spontaneity.
Right. But it is correct that both of them happen in the moment. This is correct. This is agreed. And you're right. Like that thing, truth is maybe. So,
Could they be like superset or subset relationship? Could there be between instinct and spontaneity?
I really believe that instinct comes from instinct. I'm instinctively reacting out of a pre-coded behavior in me. But spontaneous means there's no pre-coded behavior. It's free.
Sahaj.
It's free from all boxes. This I can say with what I understand surety.
Sahaj often people call simplicity is also
Right.
Sahaj.
Right.
Simple response. Very interesting. Even I will need to think on this.
Okay, so coming back to my original question. Now, what kind of conduct should I, not towards other humans, I mean within my own life, what kind of lifestyle must I live so that I feel more sattvik or in a way that enhances the process of spiritual growth? Things I must keep in mind on a day-to-day basis, that this I must not do, this I should do.
First, shall we identify what it means to be in human conduct?
Okay, done.
What would be the trait of that, so that we at least know the end outcome?
Definitely. Done.
Then we can talk of
We'll come back.
tools, techniques,
Okay, makes
ways,
sense. Makes sense.
and they may vary from person.
Makes
to
sense.
person.
Done.
So, what I believe is that when a person starts to become human being, we start that they have dhirta, virta, udarta,
Okay.
which means there is patience, there is courage, and there is generosity for others, including for oneself, but
Right.
also now it extends to
Others.
more others. Okay, patience, courage, generosity,
Okay.
and this person wants the well-being of others.
You're saying this is a pattern, like a pointing arrow towards growth in consciousness?
Yes.
These three things?
Yes, these traits will start showing up in that consciousness. They
Okay.
will start to care about others'
Others.
well-being.
Okay.
Hence, they will be patient.
Okay.
They will be courageous to do things even for others, like a mother would do for her children. Okay, and they would also have generosity, like a mother has for her children. Okay, this is one. Then, second, we will also start seeing when they transcend to the next level,
Okay. There's a further.
further growth.
Okay.
So, a mother probably cares more for her physical children than the children of her neighbor.
Correct.
Correct. When she transcends to the God consciousness, we are giving a word godly consciousness, we could give any word to it. But the next level of the fourth level, she would want justice for everybody in the world.
So it extends even more, you're saying?
Yes, her boundary of oneness has now expanded.
Okay.
to include other human beings, general human beings, nature, everything. She wants justice for everybody.
Right.
So she will start also showing kindness and grace towards others. Daya Kripa.
Okay. Okay.
She will start exhibiting this in her life.
Daya and Kripa.
Kindness means if somebody around you in your periphery needs something and they realize what they need, like a dog comes to you with hunger, wagging the tail and expecting you will give food, then your heart reaches out and you want to give food to the dog. That's kindness.
Right.
You fulfill their need which they already realize. Okay. What is grace? We say Guru's grace, God's grace, or Guru ki kripa, no? So grace is when the other, our relative, does not know what they need, but we help them identify what they need.
Okay. So this also comes.
They get direction.
Okay. Okay.
So from such people, whosoever is surrounded by these people, they start getting direction for their mind to grow. So that's grace.
Okay.
Then the divine beings have compassion.
Okay.
Compassion is basically that it's kindness plus grace combined is compassion.
Okay.
When it comes, they exhibit compassion. They develop this quality of compassion.
I read this line that compassion is a desire to alleviate the suffering of others that propels one into action. This is something Buddha said, that this is what compassion means. A desire to alleviate, and then this makes me do something. Let me do this, somehow through which the suffering of others can decrease. So, yeah.
Again, we have words, right?
They're words.
So we may choose to use some word to point to a reality.
Right.
But we can focus on realities and phenomenons here.
Right.
So there's a phenomenon where you are able to not only fulfill somebody, not only able to guide somebody, but also give them the resources to fulfill their need.
Right.
That's a reality.
Okay.
So the divine beings are able to do both.
Right.
And the divine, so the one difference between the fourth and the fifth state is that in the fourth state, people are still driven by rajasic tendencies.
How many states are there?
5.
And how many have we discussed?
All 5.
Okay.
Divine is the last.
Okay.
So in the fourth state, you may still be driven by ego. You have not fully liberated from your ego.
Right.
Okay, so like Indra in Indian stories or Greek mythologies, these gods used to fight with each other for ego also.
Right.
Correct?
So they had many godly qualities, but they still had these kind of
They
traits.
still had some illusions.
Okay, they still had some illusions. Fine.
Okay, so there may be some sort of maybe disrespect for themselves or for others. Complexes like judgments may still come. Okay, so while they are driven, they want justice, but they are still limited at times by their ego.
Right.
Hence, they may have attachments because of this. But the divine being is free of all attachments. Yeah. And all of us, even let's say somebody in the fourth stage of consciousness, may sometimes exhibit, which could be called, they may act out of fear as well. It is not that they are completely devoid of fear.
Right.
Because still there is attachment, illusion, there will be some level of fear.
So as long as they are not liberated completely, they will suffer from
something.
Human fragilities.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So see, even somebody in animal consciousness does not mean he's never in human consciousness.
Right.
He's mostly in animal consciousness. Like throughout the day he's thinking of sex maybe.
Right.
Getting laid. Right. That's what is 80% predominant in their mind. And they dress up very beautifully. They try to impress other men or women. Right. All they think of is sex. And every day maybe they want to be with somebody new also. And this is an unsatiable hunger that's driving them. Okay, but does not mean they will not feed a poor or a hungry dog.
Yes.
If it comes their way.
Right.
So these are not exclusive.
Right.
It's like shades of grey that we have in ourselves. It's not in black and white. So now coming to what kind of conduct, you said what kind of do's and don'ts, right?
Within one's, like niyams, within one's own life, not interpersonal. Within one's own life to enhance one's path as a sadhak.
So already Buddha also shared some niyams. Even in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, there are some do's and don'ts. So everybody has a recommended something.
Right.
So I feel that alcohol definitely has an effect.
Okay.
Every substance we eat, alcohol is one example.
So
We eat onion, we eat garlic.
So let's take away tamasic and rajasic food. That's not
One is food,
okay,
which affects us. But I'll say even more important than food in my experience is our breathing and posture.
Breathing and posture you give high value.
Yes, very high value, more than food.
This I want to know. This is what I originally subconsciously came for, to hear this.
Okay. So breathing, right? If our breathing is on an average human being, the common human being breathes for 4 seconds, one breath. Okay. If our breath can become 8 seconds to 16 seconds,
Okay.
then let us observe our state of mind, how it is.
So let me give a word to it. Pranayam is a way to work through this.
Pranayam helps.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's something I should do then, as per what you just said.
Pranayam as a practice is amazing.
Done. That's one thing.
Okay. Pranayam includes deep breathing also.
Yes, all of this. All of this.
So breath work.
Breath work.
Let us say.
Okay.
And awareness of my breath throughout the day.
So conscious breath work.
Conscious breathing throughout the day.
Throughout the day.
Okay. Keeping that 8 seconds to 16 seconds, one cycle of breath, will make a huge impact.
Done. So this is something that I would like to, I'll begin very soon to add. And what else?
Because you would have observed, right, when you are agitated, your breath is short.
It's quicker, right?
Quicker, and also you can feel it till your chest also.
Yeah, it's not so deep.
The breath as it flows out of nostril can be felt if you put your hand near your chest. It will come till there.
Right.
You will feel the breath on your hand if it's near your chest.
Right.
Okay, but when we are very high state of consciousness, even if you put a finger below your nostril, you will not feel your breath.
Okay.
One, it will be very long duration. Second, it will not be perceptible even 1 centimeter below your nose. So breathing, conscious breathing.
Done.
And again, there's a word before breathing, it's conscious.
Yeah.
So another word could be awareness.
Right. That itself is an activity also. So together it's more.
Yes. So what was the word? Awareness or consciousness?
Right.
In Hindi we call it hosh.
Hosh.
Other is behoshi. Okay? तो अपनी सांस का होश रहना कि मैं कैसे सांस ले रहा हूँ. So to be aware how I am breathing right now. That's the first step, because then the correction of breath will automatically follow. The moment I see I'm breathing like this, like for me also it happens when I'm lying down in the bed, right? I have observed that my breath tends to go shallow and fast. When I'm lying down to sleep, often I'm half awake, but now it is so deeply ingrained in my awareness that even while being half awake, the moment my eyes open or I'm aware of my body, I know how I'm breathing.
That's one of the best things you do. I would like to also add my perspective that besides breathing, which itself is remarkable, the fact that one is conscious throughout the day. This itself is something I just realized that we tend to sweep into some kind of a daze in our thoughts, but this brings us into the present. So it itself is an activity.
It is the main activity.
It's the main activity.
So I started with conscious breathing, but let's take away the word breathing. Let's add conscious to everything now. Hosh mein rehna. Now,
which itself is liberation. To be in proper hosh all the time naturally is liberation.
Yes.
Right.
आप विपश्यना भी करने जाएं. If you do vipassana, that's what they say on the 9th day. That for 9 days you have been conscious of all sensations of your body. And now start being conscious of your feelings and your thoughts also. And your posture as well. They talk about it. And all the sensations. So it starts with physical sensations, vipassana, and breathing. Vipassana means to see well. So there's an act of seeing is happening. That's what we are focusing on, to be able to throughout the day see things consciously, separate from those events.
Right.
I'm seeing detached from all activities. Like for example, my posture, my 5 senses, my breathing, then more subtle things like my expectations and hopes, my thoughts, even more subtle than thoughts, my feelings and desires. I'm able to see them throughout the day.
Do you think that they say to begin with breathing because that's like the first step one can
Easier.
take. It's easier. Because how would someone do all of that? So breathing is a beginning.
Is a big 5. That's why Vipassana in the first 10 days, they ask you to observe your body. But as you advanced in Buddhist practices, they will start making you work on your mind after you have evolved as a sadhaka.
One question here then. Is it possible to do two things? Like one is conscious of one's breath, but then can one do something else as well? Or is it not?
You mean that could our mindfulness include our breath, our feelings, our thoughts, our sensations, everything together?
And other activities. For example, if I'm cooking.
And even work.
I'm working on quick cooking. So now that's another activity. So can we extend our mindfulness to both of it?
I believe it has happened with me.
Okay.
For example, when we ride a car or a bike, right?
Yeah.
Often we are on the road, but it's happening automatically.
Right.
While we are doing other things. We
Right.
could be talking to a friend or just thinking about something else, right? But we are driving the car now. We drive many kilometers without even being aware of the driving. So if we just build this habit, then our breath will be like this. Our breath will be like automatic mode eventually. It will be long and deep.
So I have a question now. Like they say that practice japa or practice meditation. Is this the main reason? Like for example, if someone is doing japa, mantra japa, is it why it's being done? So that they are conscious all the time? Is it to bring consciousness or it has another purpose altogether?
Okay. I think it has more than just consciousness.
Okay.
It starts consciousness. I believe being conscious is foundation of our spiritual practice.
Okay.
Kosh mein jeena. Till we are not in conscious of what is happening, we cannot be doing spiritual growth in that moment.
Correct. Of course.
In that
instinctive then.
Maybe.
Right.
Maybe. Thoughts are instinctively driven.
Right.
It's automatically happening.
Okay.
Now we are not even aware what's happening. We have fully become one with the thought. There is no separation with the thought.
Right. To bring that, we start becoming conscious, to separate us.
Separate.
Okay.
Consciousness is separation. The seer becomes separate from what is seen. And फिर उसके बाद क्या? Next you said japa, no? So things like jap, for example, I've been doing the Maha Mantra since quite 5-6 years now, I think. 7 years maybe. So therein for me it brings more things. Like japa adds things to our consciousness. Like now I'm also, it's a reminder, for example. Okay, it's a tool firstly, and it's a reminder for me as a practice to become more closer to existence. To sort of meditate on the ultimate truth, or to pay attention rather to the ultimate truth. My attention starts staying in that direction, because for the few minutes I am with the mala, okay, with the beads.
Right.
At least I put the intention that during these few minutes I need to focus on spiritual realities of existence.
So it's like a subconscious affirmation of the spiritual path.
Affirmation, reminder.
Right. Or like a pointer. As a coding variable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like in neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, there is one technique. So, let's say, Rahul, if you ever want to feel very happy and light-hearted, the technique is go back to a memory where you were most joyous and light-hearted. Go to that moment, become that moment. Sort of live it again. Okay? Then, in your body, touch any point or pinch a point and remember consciously which point you pinched. Like I'm pinching this precise point on my forefinger. Okay. Now I put a physical sensation as a cue for that state of consciousness.
You associated that memory and this sensation.
Yes. So when we do japa, when we sit with that bead, we have associated that with our spiritual connection. So the object suddenly has power as a cue, like you said, to take us there.
And that just brings me to, I realized another thing that, the spiritual practices have two dimensions. One is of awareness and one is of concentration. So consciousness is awareness, but concentration is japa. Because I am focusing my mind and both are needed. So this makes sense. I'm getting
Correct.
There are two needed, cohesive, different paths that work together.
Yeah, complementary.
Complementary, right?
Attention, awareness is like I'm paying attention to whatever is happening. Okay, or I'm aware. I know what is happening right now. I'm aware about it. And then attention is about focusing on something.
Right.
That my special focus is on right now this thing.
Right.
I could be writing a blog. So my focus attention right now is writing the blog, or I'm contemplating about the nature of laws
that
of
takes
universe.
attention.
That's
Correct.
attention.
Correct.
Now, what is concentration is to be able to stick the attention onto that object for long enough.
Right.
At will.
At will. Right.
Because mind's nature is like it
to
will wander.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So that's the default, de facto nature of the mind.
Right.
But we have the choice to again bring it back and concentrate.
Right.
That's our choice.
That's
like
a choice.
to get angry is a default nature.
Right.
Right? But to not be angry and to respond to a situation is a choice.
So I've written it somewhere that concentration is learning to decompulsify the mind. As you also said, the mind has a compulsive nature. When we bring it back, we decondition it. We stop it from being compulsive. So I get you.
Correct.
So now this is covered, is it?
Is it covered for you? Your question was what kind of things can I do for
we still have to go back to posture.
Okay.
That's left. So breathing is done. That's something, as you said, besides consciousness, breathing also, deep breathing is something I'll work on.
Consciousness about breathing and ensuring that our breath is right.
That's something done. One thing is covered.
Then posture.
Yes.
Straight spine.
How important is this?
Very important.
Yeah?
Yes. Because let's observe, even right now, shall we try, let's be like this, bend our spine and go down. Close our arms also like this. How are we feeling? We should just
So
observe.
true. I feel constrained. I feel limited.
I feel depressed. Kind of heavy, low. Right? Now let's straight our spine, open our chest. Sit tall. Like every spine, every single bone is extended. We are half 1 inch taller while we are sitting, and open your arms also. Sit in an open posture. That's it. How we feel now? Suddenly I see smile on your face now.
Maybe it's from hearing you. I don't know. I don't know.
Now you have to verify this yourself.
But one question. This did happen. You're right. But how much of it is placebo? Could it be placebo? Because we've been taught from our childhood that this is how it is.
Well, see, I can only share my personal experience.
Okay.
So in my experience, I do not believe it's a placebo.
Okay.
And it just works.
It does work.
Even if it's placebo, it works.
It works. It does work as per you, and it's important.
But I've generally observed, apart from my personal body and my being, I've seen other people who are not confident about themselves don't sit straight.
Interesting.
It's a general observation.
So can it be vice versa? If someone learns to sit straight, they'll develop confidence?
Yes, like breathing. We work on our breath, we affect our emotions. We work on our emotions, we affect our breath. It's a circular thing.
I want to quickly bring one more information for the listeners that both of these activities, besides the beautiful spiritual benefits, they also allow more air to go into the organs. They allow the organs to work better. Because when we are sitting straight, our organs have more space.
Yes, and our breathing is more efficient.
So it's connected also.
It's connected.
Wow, okay, that makes sense.
And also some yogic people say it's also the energy flows nicely across the spine. Right?
Yeah.
So, but for those even who don't have experience of yogic energies, subtle energies, but we can just try in our own life, experience ourselves when we sit bent and down, how are we feeling generally? When we are sitting straight, how are we feeling? Or rather, do the reverse also. When I'm feeling very confident and good, am I sitting closed and bent with a,
That's true, but when I, stoop in and I shrink, I feel not so good. It's true. I feel limited, like I'm scared. It's automatic.
And vice versa. When I'm scared and limited, I bend.
Yeah, it's so true.
Right?
It's so true.
So that happens.
Okay.
And we can also now, see, the way to verify any proposal for a fact, you need to do 3 things. In Hindi, it's called Nirikshan, Parikshan, Sarvekshan. So Nirikshan is observation on myself. Does it hold true for me?
Yeah.
So you experiment on yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. You verify it on yourself. Second is Parikshan. Parikshan is around me. In the world I directly observe around me, is it true?
Through inference. Through
Inference
observing
with
other
my
people's-
father, mother, children, friends.
And as you said, maybe observe confident people and the way they move around.
Yes. People around me, I can directly reach out to them. That's parikshan.
Okay.
Experimentation around myself.
Okay.
Then sarvekshan is survey.
Survey. Okay.
You basically try to gather, if you really want to go to that extent, you're still not sure based on these two data sets.
Yeah.
To be fully sure, you want to know universally, it's applicable for every human being. So you do your due diligence. Of course, you cannot get data of 7.5 billion human beings, but you have data from a big enough data set.
Yeah. If it's enough, it adds up. One realizes, oh, this is seeming to be true again and again.
Then you will naturally get a confidence one day, and you will say, I'm 80% confident, 90% confident, and maybe 100% confident. That is true.
So I'm very assured with this as well. Is there anything else? Because I'm like, you seem to be a treasure chest. I want more treasure. Is there anything else that might be you can
breathing posture?
Anything else besides that one should be aware of daily?
Daily.
Yeah. So these two things done.
So we started with the most gross things.
Right.
Vipassana starts with sensations included.
Right.
So the gross things would be my sensations in body, my breathing and posture. Even more than sensations, I'll personally focus on breathing.
Okay.
Most important.
Okay.
Posture will get corrected. Okay. But breathing and posture together.
Okay.
Even when sleeping, what's our posture? Standing, what's our posture? Sitting, what's our posture? Those things.
To add some more information, even Patanjali's path has given special value to asana and pranayam.
Correct.
So makes sense.
So then the second thing is now the subtle things, which are really the ultimate most important things, is my feeling. I would say if we have to do the biggest work, it should be how I'm feeling right now. Not also on the thoughts. Not on the desires also.
As per you, feelings are more important than thoughts and desires.
Yes.
As we began initially, it leads to thoughts, desires,
because
actions.
Our ultimate desire, the root or the trunk desire is to feel good. So let's check our feelings straight away. If the goal of the entire human existence and program that a human being lives for is to feel good. So let us just start being aware whether I am achieving my goal in this moment or not. Am I feeling good or not? So I would say the ultimate most important work and our goal also is
but
to
suppose I'm not feeling good. Then what can I do?
Correct. So there are 7 steps that may happen. But out of them, the first 3 are most critical. Others happen automatically.
Okay.
We can cover those 4. But most important first 3 is, firstly, let me be conscious of how I'm feeling right now.
Right.
Okay. And the question comes, am I feeling good? To be conscious the whole day. Am I feeling fine? If the answer is yes, I'm feeling fine, and I'm sure, great. No, I'm not feeling fine, and I'm sure, fine. Observed. No judgment of it. Pure observation.
Okay.
Even if I'm not feeling fine, it's very important. The act of seeing does not judge. It simply sees.
Yeah.
Like a mirror does not judge the person sitting in front of the mirror. It simply reflects you. Okay. Or the screen of a movie theater does not judge the scene being played on the screen right now. It simply gets filled with the scene. So same way the seer inside us does not judge. It's our mind which starts judging. The seer is not judging.
Correct. He's just a pure witness.
Pure witness.
Right.
It does not have faculty to judge.
Correct.
It cannot judge that seer.
Right.
Okay. So first thing is to see how I'm feeling. Now if we are unsure during early stages of practice, sometimes we may confuse, we are angry with somebody and we say, hey, I'm feeling fine. This anger is fine. Correct? So then if we are not sure, then the next beautiful question could be that would I like to continue
Feeling
next moment to feel how I'm feeling right now?
Okay. Is this the second step or the third?
Second question.
Okay, second question.
To confirm the answer of first question.
Okay.
If first question says I'm feeling fine.
Okay.
Second question during early stages of sadhana is would I like to continue feeling this for the next moment and for rest of my life? If the answer comes yes, then my first answer was right. If answer comes no, means okay, I was confused. So if I don't want to continue feeling the same till the next moment, means I'm not feeling fine.
It's definitely not a good feeling.
Not a good feeling. Okay, तो second answer तक now we have found out whether we are feeling fine or not.
Right.
In the sense that whatever we are feeling, is it naturally acceptable to us or not? जो spontaneity हमने बात की, सहज रूप से स्वीकार है कि नहीं मुझे? Is it spontaneously acceptable to me to feel how I'm feeling right now? Okay. Now, and by spontaneous, we don't mean the rational mind doesn't come there. Spontaneity is deeper than rationality. So just intuitively we know it. Like you ask a child, do you want to be healthy? Child will say yes, he will not think. So that's the second question. Now the third question is, if the answer was I am not feeling fine, that's the conclusion. Then the third question is, do I have a choice to continue feeling like I am feeling? Do I have the choice to change the way I am feeling?
Suppose one does not have a choice because feelings are so compulsive. If I feel bad and I feel I don't have a choice, I don't know how to feel better, then what?
We are not speaking how to exercise the choice. I'm simply saying, do I have the choice to feel how I'm feeling?
What is the answer?
That answer is your answer, Rahul. Okay? And again, that answer does not have to come for our rationality.
Okay.
सहज रूप से आता है. एक बच्चे से पूछ लो, एक बच्चा, I have asked this question to so many kids. I have done this practice with 6-year-old kids. I have even experimented with 4-year-old kids who start learning language. They can understand what I am asking them. Okay? Adults are complicated beings, human adults. But kids spontaneously give answer, yes, I have a choice.
This is such a difficult question because I feel like I don't have a choice, but it doesn't seem like the right answer.
Is it acceptable to you? And one way to verify what is acceptable to us or not is that does it make us feel lighter? If there is a truth, and this is my belief, my view, okay, that if something is a universal reality, okay, it is then that reality is always in line with our well-being. Only we are not aligned with that reality.
Correct. All with our well-being.
Correct. That reality is in line with our well-being.
Yes.
So, if something is not naturally acceptable to us, we will feel heaviness about it. You will feel an inner conflict. For some people, it may even come as a body sensation. For some, it will come in the tummy, in the stomach, an agitation. Some, they may feel heaviness in the chest. For somebody else, it may be a different body reflection. But even if we ignore the body, some people who are subtle enough, they may just be able to see the activity of the mind and say, hey, it's not acceptable to.
Can we double click onto this third point of yours? Because I feel like I'm not satisfied with what I'm feeling. So, like for example, I'm feeling a bad emotion and I know it's a bad emotion. Now you said, do I have a choice on changing the emotion? I feel like I don't. In that moment, definitely not.
So, because the emotion is so strong in that moment.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like a big storm has come.
Right.
So, we are not saying that am I capable to do it or not immediately. I'm saying, is it still my choice? Because the storm came, but the storm started with a small wind.
Right. In hindsight, it is my choice. I have a power over it. In a sense, yes.
Because how does storm happen?
Right.
In our mind.
Right.
It is one thought keeps repeating after the other.
Yeah.
There's a train of thoughts feeding into each other.
Correct.
Like, I am good for nothing.
Correct.
Then you start going through memories of childhood.
Yes.
In that memory.
It's like an avalanche that begins as a snowball. So it's like that.
Correct. One snowball comes and then becomes an avalanche. Yeah. We go through our memories, thought upon thought keeps piling up, and every single time we give food to that thought, it adds to the emotion that is building up with it.
Correct.
So, the storm is our own making.
Correct. So, I do have a choice, though I don't realize it, but I do have a choice.
And now, does it make you feel better?
A lot.
This answer.
Like a lot
better. It makes you feel empowered?
Very.
That's
very good.
The sign of something true. If we align with something which is a fact, we feel empowered by it. Naturally, spontaneously acceptable. It makes us feel light. It feels like we have found a solution to our problem. So if it makes you feel empowered that I have a choice.
Though I don't know it yet, like you said, I don't know about the how. but I do have a choice. I understand through what you said.
Correct. And especially in that moment, we can remind, and now this requires some rational thinking and evaluation, of course. Because we have to understand this phenomenon, that do I have a choice is very important and a life-changing question. And this answer we don't have to take by faith because I'm saying this.
But through the 3 steps, like you said.
Verify it scientifically. Now, this thing of choice, again, and verified, first rationalize about it. Firstly, it should, one, rationally feel a fine thing, and second, this rationality should be in line with the natural acceptance. If both align, that means now I will live and verify this scientifically. Nirikshan, Parikshan, Sarvekshan stage has come. Okay, वो अध्ययन होगा, which will be my study to confirm this, which seems rationable and naturally acceptable. Now I'll live it out. ये बात है. So again, जो choice की बात की ना, when I'm feeling very strong anger, something has happened. Maybe somebody betrayed me.
Right.
They betrayed my trust.
Right.
And I suddenly learn I've been living 3 years with somebody in my own home or workplace, and they were sort of intentionally cheating me all this time. They were stabbing me behind my back. Now a rage of emotion may come to us, but a conscious sadhak or a yogi in that moment will be able to see even before the emotion is about to begin.
He's aware that
emotion is coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
I'm about to get angry now. वो दिखने लगा.
And yes.
Or I've just got little angry.
Right.
Anger is increasing.
Self-aware is what
Awareness.
Okay.
इसी को होश में जीना कहते हैं. Awareness.
But do you want to continue this?
Yes.
So now when I have understood that yes, I have, in that moment I said, yes, I do have a choice. What next? I do have a choice, but the emotion is still like a avalanche. What next?
So once the 3 steps have happened, answer has come, I have a choice. Other things will happen. Even if I don't tell you what will happen, they will still just automatically happen. Because 80-90% of job is done. Rest 10% is a natural DNA, it will take over and make things. So what will happen next is that we will start getting to the root of the problem. First we understand what is happening. Next step will be, okay, now why is this happening? Natural question. Why am I angry right now? So we analyze it. Okay. Because we have a problem. That's why we are angry. And the problem doesn't have a solution. Okay. Having a problem does not make us sad or suffer. Having a problem with no solution is unhappiness.
Right.
So I am angry because I have a problem which doesn't seem to have a solution right now.
Right.
That's why I got angry. Okay. Right. So hence first step, what is the problem? Next step, what is the solution? Okay. So those are the next 2 steps. So once we have understood problem solution, the next step is to verify it again. That is this really the solution?
Correct.
Once we have arrived at the solution, now dhyana is the last stage, to be aware of it and to practice it in my daily life from here on.
Do you mean abhyasa?
Abhyasa.
Okay. I got you. This is wise actually.
Those are the 7 steps.
And at this point of my life, I am trying to do that in something that you are aware of, but we will discuss that later. Done. Anything else left from my end? Because I am very satisfied yet greedy. So it's up to you whether you want to discuss more or stop.
Like I said, no. Our awareness, जो होश में जीने की बात है, सबसे important is awareness of our feelings. Am I feeling fine or not? That should be main focus.
Done.
And is it my choice?
So actually what you said, it's something that gave me a lot of happiness, which you inferred that it's better to focus on the subtle and not the gross. Though the gross helps.
Stepping stone.
It's a stepping stone. But it's better if one can directly go to the subtle.
So if you cannot, then start with the gross.
It's very, very helpful. And it's true. So as you said, the deepest is the yearning. And then as you go outwards, it's the feelings and awareness, and then finally breath and posture.
It will happen. The deepest is the yearning, the stronger intensity. And now also coming to thoughts and feelings, right? So when we observe, another way to judge the thought when we observe, is this thought empowering or this feeling empowering me or not? To feel good.
I do have a question. Can I ask you? Okay. So, as you said that we find a solution, right? Like, can we go into that? So you said first you feel a feeling and then you realize that I do have the control on it, and then I work on it. So suppose I have a thought that's a solution, and you how do I know whether that thought is the correct solution or not?
Like we discussed, to live it out, to verify it scientifically,
Okay.
to practice it.
Okay.
Firstly, it will make logical sense
Hmm.
and it will be naturally acceptable.
Hmm.
This is the first parameter. It is acceptable to me, this reasoning. That's the starting point.
Hmm.
Second, but still to confirm it, I will live it out.
Hmm.
And I'll verify it with evidence.
Hmm.
That's scientific approach. You need evidence. And repetitive universal evidence. That it applies not just for Rahul,
But
it
for-
applies for Ayush, for Sanjay,
Hmm.
for every human being around me whom I live. I've observed in my parents, my school friends, people I've directly interacted with. And it seems, I see YouTube, I see the content online, I read newspaper, it seems every human being feels like this.
Done.
So then it becomes my knowledge.
Done.
And the day the information has been absorbed by us, then it has become a knowledge.
Or wisdom. And
Or
then it's a
wisdom.
wisdom. Right.
Wisdom ka, matlab, okay. Yeah, but if I can propose,
Yeah.
then I would choose the word wisdom to be the ability, wisdom comes from knowledge.
When we have experienced it.
Yes, when we've experienced knowledge, when we have become the knowledge.
Right. When it comes organically, when someone asks the same question.
Aha.
Right.
So the wisdom ka definition hoga the ability to discern between the right and the wrong. Right and wrong, I'm giving two labels, or rather the preferable and not preferable.
A word comes to mind, Viveka. Is that
Same.
Okay. Okay.
Ability to discern between preferable and not preferable.
Right.
Or empowering and not empowering.
Because that will allow us to figure out the rest, as you just said. Sehjta, in listening
Aha.
to your truth. Right.
Yes.
Right.
We'll be able to discern ki yaar, am I being cynical right now? Okay, is this cynicism empowering me
Yeah.
or not empowering me?
Yeah.
Or a healthy rational question or a query is empowering me or not empowering me?
Correct.
So hence, and very important, the act of seeing and consciousness is no interference with the thought that is coming. Never engage with the thought. A thought has come. I want to hit somebody. ठीक है?
Right. We all face that. I get you.
I have also faced it.
Sanjeev.
Okay, to observe the thought and see how I'm feeling thinking this thought. Am I feeling empowered? In other words, it means am I feeling light? This is naturally acceptable to me. Okay, in heat of the moment, I may say, yeah, this person deserves to be hit. But then we have to really develop our ability to see in subtlety. Am I feeling light right now?
Right.
Hating this person.
Right.
Is it acceptable? Do I want to live rest of my life feeling like this?
Yeah. That's a good question.
That's an excellent question.
Yeah, right.
The second question is the killer.
Yeah. Now I know. Okay, I don't want to feel like this forever. Even though in the moment I think I'm feeling good.
But if I don't want to feel ever, then it's not
It's not
acceptable
a
to
good
me. It's not good for me.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we have to apply this discernment. This is Viveka
Viveka.
in action. Right? Okay, this is not empowering for me. And I choose not to engage in this anymore. So I let this thought go away. I will not fight this thought. Because if I fight this thought, I'm in a conflict again.
And again, I'm giving power to the thought. Right.
Yes, I'm giving power to the thought because whenever thought comes, I'll start fighting with it.
Right. Which I've always been doing, and again I'm doing. So as you said, the right response is to consciously let
Watch
it go
it.
or watch it. Yeah.
It will become naked
It will become
and it will vanish.
Right.
So this meditation I used to do with children who used to come here, no? And young kids, lovely, they just catch it. We used to call it the watchman meditation. So you are the watchman of a palace. The palace is your mind.
So beautiful. Okay.
Okay? So the palace is your own mind. And now all kinds of visitors are coming inside the doors of the palace. All kinds of characters. Each one has unique personality. Who are these visitors? These visitors are my thoughts, my imagination. Okay, imagination is basically thoughts, feelings, desires. Thoughts, desires and expectations are imagination. Okay. So, I see all these visitors come in my palace, do whatever they are doing. Some visitors decorate my palace, they fill them with flowers. Some visitors come and destroy my palace. They are wreaking havoc, they are fighting with other visitors. Two visitors are now engaged even in a fight, like two conflicting desires are in a fight with each other. The watchman's job is to only watch them, not throw them out.
Right.
If the moment the watchman's eye has landed on them, they have become stripped naked of what they are doing, they will themselves walk away.
Yeah, he's like a bouncer and they're scared of the bouncer.
They'll go away.
They'll go away. Right.
My game is over.
Done. Right.
That's the very powerful trick. So, yeah. And this is also called the meditation on nothingness. In other words, I read a very beautiful book called A Million Thoughts. One of the best books on meditation. And there they call this meditation as the meditation on nothingness. Why? I'm watching my thoughts and emotions and feelings. How is this meditation on nothingness?
Correct. That's a question I also thought.
So what he says is that between two thoughts is always a gap. So I'm not only watching the thought, but I'm watching the nothingness between two thoughts. Even if it's a microsecond gap, I can see it. Slowly we get into the microsecond and we start expanding it. It becomes millisecond. Then it becomes a second between two thoughts. And that's how the gap opens.
Makes sense. It's all interconnected. Being conscious and reaching the point of nothingness.
Because very important, like I said, no, let's observe thoughts. But I didn't say let's observe the space when there are no thoughts.
Yeah, you didn't.
So hence, good, we are adding it now. It's the missing point.
Okay.
So for a beginner, it's easier to observe thoughts.
He doesn't know that there's a space between
two thoughts.
Yeah.
But the moment we start observing thoughts, we will start noticing space between two thoughts also. That's the important space. The moment we have developed the faculty to do it, we have entered a new orbit. This would be the most important practice. I could recommend don't drink alcohol, don't smoke, don't have sex with many people, don't have greed for money. But those are, again, I would be talking of symptoms.
They're symptoms, yes. I was just thinking that. If you are aligned like what you're saying, automatically the symptoms will go away. Right.
Whatever is not empowering will start going away from life. It may take its due time, but it will go away.
Thank you, Ayushji, so much for this, because I feel like I got my answers.
Thank you, Rahul, also for bringing this up, because having this amazing discussions from a true seeker like you, and I relate myself to you because I'm like you in this.
Right.
So it makes me also feel very happy to have a company of a person, a soul like you.
Thank you,
Ayushji. Me who just comes in at 10 p.m. in the night. Comes with a question. This is the spontaneity. We are living spontaneously.
We sadhaks be crazy.
Yes. This is so much, I think, nourishing for both of us. I really enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
To you also. Thank you.